All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Carlos Rodriguez, and I'm with MLS Listings. So let me actually show you this page. This is me. This is my picture right here. I'm a corporate trainer at MLS Listings. Our current address, 740 Kiefer Road in Sunnyvale. And my cell phone number in case you need to contact me for whatever reason. Just call me up, leave me a voicemail, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And here is my email address, crodriguez at mlslistings.com. So call me on my cell or email me and I can get back to you whenever I have a chance. So this is me. These are my colleagues, Mark and Dave, and we are the only trainers at the MLS. So this is not the actual presentation of the topic that we have for today, which is tax records in Matrix or Matrix tax records. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to start with this page. So as you know, this is our consumers page, mlslistings.com. And people come to this page just like they go to uh, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, or any of those, and they run their searches. They can go to whatever zip code city or school district area, look for properties to buy or rent or view the recently sold. They can also find agents here. We know that consumers cannot see any type of tax records, correct? So that's why I wanted to begin this page. The page we're going to talk about today is this one, pro.mlslistings.com, and I believe that most of you are already familiar with this. We have several buttons or tabs on this page. On the right hand side, we have basically the tools that you can use, especially Matrix. If you have a listing that you want to upload to our system, you do it right here and you maintain it here as well. We have another button for tax records here, which is Realist. That is the name of the tool that we use to view tax records. So I actually taught a class on this a couple of days ago, and it was exclusively about Realist. Today's class is a little bit similar. I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to take you to the actual one that we will discuss today. RPR stands for Realtors Property Resource, and this is a tool from AR. It's a free benefit, so I hope that you already signed up for it. You need your NRDS number to access it, and then you can find property throughout the entire United States. Whatever address you enter, whether it's commercial, residential, etc., it pops up, right? And you can view a little bit of tax records on this. We have also realtor.com, which is another way to search. There's no, well, there's a little bit of tax records in there, like number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, lot size, and all that, just like what we have on HomeSnap, which is one of our mobile applications, and the others, right? Well, what I wanted to show you first is that you can definitely view tax records when you go to Matrix Search right here, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. I clicked on that little house with a red roof. Remember, it takes me to residential searches only. If I'm looking for other types of properties, I go up here where it says search and I view residential, rental. If I'm looking for properties for rent, I can go right there, but be careful because that's not all the rentals in the area, right? It is just the rentals that agents added to our system. It's not like rents.com. So let's say I had a property that I was trying to sell. I didn't sell it. My client came back to me and said, I changed my mind. I don't want to sell right now, but I want to rent it. So I just converted that um, contract from sale to rental and I just moved it on our system here, right? So we can find lots on land, multi-unit, commercial, mobile homes, cross property, etc. So one of the things, if you do a search, active single family homes in whatever area you want, you can go by county, by city, by area. Let's go to 95123. I came up with 22 matches. So there are currently 22 active single family homes in Blossom Hill, which is the zip code right here, part of it. And I can simply jump to my results and I land on the results page. So notice that I'm viewing the 22 properties that I came up with because my display is 25 properties per page. If I had come up with 100, I would see 4 pages underneath instead of one. So going from left to right, I have several columns, and one of them is the MLS number. So when you open any property, I believe this is a property that has been on the market for, well, 354 days, one of the longest. But regardless, when you click on that, it shows you now, besides the listing information that we used to see before, which is the MLS information, the name of the listing agent, their phone number, and all that. We used to see this in the past, but up to a couple of months ago, this is all we were seeing, right? But our executive team decided to contact CoreLogic. CoreLogic is the company that manages both systems, this, which is Matrix, and this other system right here. Actually, let me close our consumers page. Realist. So Matrix, Realist, both of them were created by CoreLogic. So our executive team contacted them and they said, people would like to have tax records incorporated into Matrix. So what happened was that people were telling us, if I run my searches in Matrix, right? They went right here, they run their search just like I did, and they landed on their page, this page, right? So they viewed their results. They said, why don't we have access to tax records as well? So our executive team thought about it, they contacted them, and they did it. So that's why whenever you go to any record right here and you open it up, you see besides the listing information that I just showed you, you can scroll through and go to the bottom of the page to check um, history on the MLS and all the photos right here. Well, that's always been there, right? The new thing is tax records plus photos plus history plus parcel map, plot map, etc. So we added all these tabs on the agent full view. If you go to client full, obviously this is the report that you send to your client. They don't see those extra tabs, right? So you can go ahead and print it, that's fine. But if you go back to the agent one line, which is the default, or actually the agent one, agent full, this one, we see all these different tabs right here. So let me go through them. Tax. So I can see tax records in Matrix. This is what we started calling Matrix 360, by the way. We actually went away from that name, but we used to call it that way, and some other MLSs may still call it that way. Matrix 360, because you can view the listing, the tax information, the photos, the history, all this data comes from Realist, right? From the standalone version. So what do you see here? You see the owner's information on this property, the location information, the estimated value. Just be careful with the estimated value. Remember, you get the low, the high, and the median, and also the confidence score. So in this case, the county, the information came from the county, right? County records. They are only 68% sure that this is really the value of the property. And that's because they don't know the situation of the property. So they don't know if somebody has lived there with 10 cats and 10 dogs and they destroyed the property or they've been upgrading it. So real AVM, and that's what this is, an automated valuation model. It's a computerized system with an algorithm that comes up with that number. So they combine a bunch of homes that look alike and they come up with the price based on square footage and lot size. So real AVM is a CoreLogic derived value and should not be used in lieu of an appraisal. So that means that you really have to do your CMA, right? Comparative market analysis. So just be careful with that. When somebody asks you about the price of the property, don't just come here, pull this price and tell them, okay, the county says your property is worth 2 million, blah, blah, blah. So that may be a big mistake, right? So you really have to do your homework with your quick CMA first, finding your comps, active, contingent, pending, and sold, the last 60 days or whatever, and you come up with your quick CMA, and then you can go further with the CMA, which is the full-blown CMA where you come up with like 80 pages, right? So you get all this information, owner information, location, estimated valuation of the property, the tax information, and also how much they're paying for their taxes this year, I think in 2018 they were paying this. They had an increase of 2%. We're paying this, and then they had another 2% increase for 2020. Now this is what they currently pay, right? And so forth. So so you can go through this report and it gives you the property characteristics. It's going to tell you whether it's a condo, townhouse, residential, the shape of the property, how many rooms. And something really important is that they're going to tell you if there's a change. For example, the previous listing agent went to this property and they noticed that instead of having 5 bedrooms, they have 6 now. They have the permits and all that. So they annotate that, right? They changed this on their listing from 5 to 6, and now it's going to say tax record says 5, MLS says 6, right? So those are some of the things that we're going to notice on the regular tax records. But this is all we have for tax records on the report from Matrix, right? We can view the photos here. And we have tons of photos that we can utilize for our reports. And history. History, I kind of like it because it's not only MLS history here, as you can see, right? It tells you when it went uh, active and pending and sold usually. This doesn't have much. So it looks like they haven't posted this listing on the MLS until like last year, right? So we can also see the sale history on public records. So they actually sold it, probably not on the MLS, um, in 2015 and then 2016 and all that, right? And the mortgage history as well, what transactions they had, if they refinanced the property, and also if this is pertinent, we will get the foreclosure history. This property seems to have some type of foreclosure issue, or at least had it in the past. That's why it's marked with that, right? So, and you can go through all these tabs and ultimately say, okay, I want to print, and I want to print my agent report, right? Agent, where is that? Agent, not the agent one line, agent full, where am I? Client full. I'm looking for my agent full. This is my agent page. Agent full. Oh, it's right at the top. That's why I couldn't see it. So the agent full has all the different tabs that I just showed you. You want to print them or email them to one of your colleagues. Notice, don't send this to your client because you're going to send them all kinds of private information, right? Especially if it's the buyer. But so if it's one of your colleagues that you're talking about regarding this property, you can say, I'm going to save this, email to PDF or print to PDF or whatever you want. So you can say, I don't need the photos. So forget about that. I don't need the history on the property, or I don't need the parcel map, or I don't need the plot map. So you can deselect whatever you don't need, and then you can print to PDF or email to PDF. So I would recommend you to do those two. Don't hit the print button right here. If you do that, you will go back to your printer and you're going to find a couple of extra pages that you really don't need because you're printing to HTML. So print to PDF, email to PDF, correct? All right. So this is it about the Matrix 360. So what I did, again, I told you, and I'm going to go back to my agent one line from here. So instead of going up and down right here, looking for the agent one line, our engineering team created that shortcut to bring me back to this page so I can open another one and review it, and then I can go back and open another one. So whichever property you want, you can view the listing, the tax, the photos. Oh, I'm glad I found this one. There's going to be a virtual open house on this house in Blossom Valley. I think it's coming up from 2 to 4 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, October 17 and 18. I think it already passed. They had it right there last week. But this is a new thing we're doing. We're having virtual open houses because of the current situation, right? We don't have any live open houses, as you know. They were suspended as of March 17, 2020, and until they tell us that this situation has been fixed, which we kind of doubt it for right now, maybe a couple more months, we're going to continue like this. All right, so this is the Matrix 360. Now, here is another thing. I'm going to go back to my Matrix. How do I do that? To my Pro homepage, I'm sorry. It's Pro right at the top. Don't hit the logo. You might go back somewhere else. So click Pro and it'll bring you back to this page, which is actually, I have double now. So it'll bring you back to this page. And I already showed you that whenever you open any report on Matrix, and I didn't show you this. Let me do this again, right? You go and say active single family home in again 95123. And I need to show you again the 22 results. I go to here, and besides opening the report and viewing the 5 or 6 different tabs that I showed you, every single property has the TX. So these are the tax records for each property, and not only for active, right? It could be active, contingent, pending, and or sold. I'm gonna view the sold properties in the same area for the last 30 days. I have 128. Let me go to results right here, and I'm gonna sort them out by clicking this letter S, right? So I actually have active, active contingent. Let me view more than 25. So active, active contingent, pending, and I'm gonna view sold right here. So even if you have sold properties, regardless of the status, you will always see the TX next to it, right? So you can find the tax records for that property in here, but that's not exactly what you're here for, right? Not today. So if you had a chance to attend class a couple of days ago, I taught the class Realist, which is this. When you click on this tab, you land right on this page. This is the standalone version, and this is what we've been using for like over a decade, right? We use this across California, and other states have pretty much the same system. Some other systems have CRS or CSR. I don't remember exactly what it is. Actually, let me show you. Paragon, if you ever use Paragon, opposite to Matrix, when you go to tax records right here, it's CRS, right? That's the name of it. Let me just get rid of my notifications whenever it gives me a chance. All right. Tax records, they use a system called CRS, right? Which is very, very similar to what we are using. So I just showed you Paragon, opposite to Matrix, that is compatible with Realist. So I'm on Realist right now, and on Realist, I have the area where I enter my criteria. So I can look up for one property, 795 Calero Avenue in San Jose. We type it correctly, San Jose, California, and search, and in a couple of seconds it's going to pop up, right? So I got the report. I can comps, I can view the market trends in the area, view my neighbors, the neighborhood profile, etc. So there is a lot you can see right here. This is just for one property, so let me scroll going down. It's very similar to the report I showed you right here, remember? Or if I open any report in Matrix that says TX, very, very similar, except this one starts with the address. This one has the owner information, location, but it's kind of plain text. It doesn't give you more. It's just like that. It gives you the AVM, again, the low, the high, the median price, like I said before, the listing information and all that. But on Realist, you get a couple of more information, a couple more things, right? You get the address, but then right underneath you get this area, usually with a picture, and it tells you how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, square footage, lot size, year built, and all that. This information is super important. When I teach the CMA class, I always tell people, go ahead and type in the address that you're analyzing and do that on Realist and make it pop up, and then stay there. Leave that tab open because you're going to have to jump back and forth when you go back to Matrix and you enter, I'm looking for similar properties in the area. You need to know your subject property information, which is this. So you need to enter the square footage, and you have a range. You say 200 above and 200 below this number, right? For square footage, and for lot size, usually it's 500 above, 500 below. Then, like I said, this information is great for that. I see the same information I saw before, but I see a little bit more, like the sale score indicator right here that I didn't see on the Matrix report when I opened it up with plain text. This is something new that they just came up with. They consider a lot of factors to come up with that, to see whether they're like almost ready to sell this property. In this case, there's a high probability that they may sell the property within the next 6 months, right? So it's very low when they just bought the property, low when it's been like 1 or 2 years, moderate, high, etc. And then, like I said, they have the estimated value, the last market and sell history, mortgage history, and you view a map that you don't see on the other one in Matrix, right? You can find comps, market trends, etc. Again, this is the standalone version. Now, what I was going to is this. You actually have another way to run the same types of searches without going here. Remember I said that a couple of months ago, our engineering team worked on that, the executive team worked on that, and they said, okay, people want to see tax records in Matrix, let's do it. So they contacted CoreLogic, which is the name of this company. I thought it said CoreLogic somewhere around here. It doesn't, but it doesn't matter, right? So I'm gonna go back to Matrix right here. So if you are running searches right here, um, this is the regular world where you go and run searches for residential, right? So remember, when you click on the little house with the red roof, you land on residential searches only, not, um, well, let me show you. Residential searches um, are basically for single family home, condos, townhouses, manufactured homes. You can select whatever you really need by holding down your control key. I want to say active manufactured homes or whatever, right? Actually, manufactured homes, you won't find anything right there. You might need to go back to search and mobile home right here. And that's what I was about to tell you. If you're looking for something else, when you come to residential searches, you're not going to find them because, again, this one is mainly for single family homes, condos, and townhouses. You need to go right here and go exactly. This class is all about this button right here, public records. So remember when I run a search, let me actually show you my recent searches. I run a search for single family homes in whatever zip code. I think it was 95123, remember? So this is the way my results page looks like. I have numbers, I have the map, the photos, the virtual tour icon, the status. This is for short sales and REOs, the link to the property report, and so forth, right? Look at this page because we're going to look at a different page in a couple of seconds. So from up here, from search, I want to go into public records. So this is a different world, right? So let's just go back to this tab right at the top. So from here, from residential all the way up to office, right? This is the regular world you always move in, right? You look for residential properties, for rental, for lot and land, for multi-unit that include duplex, triplex, fourplex, commercial. You can find mobile homes, or you can combine a couple of those into one. So you go to cross property quick and find single family homes and maybe a duplex and a triplex and maybe a mobile home at the same time. You can find agents, you can find offices. So this is exactly, like I said, the regular world. We just went to the second world, which is the world of tax records or public records right here. So as you can see, it doesn't say residential here, right? This is where we enter our criteria. And we do have the same thing. We have three buttons up here, criteria, map, and results, just like we do when we go to the regular world for residential or any of those, right? So I'm going to start with, I can type in an address, 795, the same address I entered before, Calero Avenue, right? Calero Avenue, and it's in San Jose. So let's see, Calero Avenue, and I could say 95123. I hope it shows it to me. It's not coming up, so let's just say 795 Calero. Kind of weird. It's not showing it. So sometimes it takes a little to come up with addresses like that. Direction, Valero, I spelled it right. Type, it should be Avenue, and it should be, maybe it's needing the city in San Jose. I don't see any results. That's pretty strange. Oh, go ahead, Henry.
I think you have a space after Calero. Try that.
It might be. It's not that.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you for suggesting that. It's kind of strange because okay, let's clear the page. Let's clear it. Let's do this again. All right, 795. I know that address exists. And then I'm gonna type the street name Calero, and oh, there it is. So sometimes it just keeps a character somewhere. So you were absolutely right. Thank you for suggesting that. So I found the address. I can go to results. I can view the tax records for this. But notice now I have um, the status, well, there's no status right now for this one, but I have the tax ID, the address, the postal code, the owner's name. If there's a second owner, I'm going to see it right there. Recording dates, right? And more information moving to the right. Assessed value of the property, tax amount, what they pay for this property as of today per year, and number of bedrooms, bathrooms. So all the information that I need. So how do I go back to my criteria? I could actually view this on the map. By the way, it's going to put the location right there for this property. It's right there. Moving on back to the criteria, right? I just showed you how to find one property. So I'm going to show you something a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to find any person with the last name Rodriguez, which is my last name, right? Where? If I leave it open, it's going to tell me you're crazy. You have way too many results, right? Because you didn't specify where. It could be a county, just one, or it's actually searching throughout the 58 counties in California right now. It's going to be crazy. I need to go find Santa Clara, right? I can type Santa Clara, but it's not going to work. So I think it's best if you go right here and type Santa Clara, which is Santa Clara County, and uh, and then you say okay. So it's SEC Santa Clara Rodriguez. It's going to give me number right there. There are 1,057 matches. So if I go to my map, I know it's going to take a while, but my map is going to show me all those 1,057 people across Santa Clara County. So it's not me, it's the system doing this right now. It's taking a while. Okay, there it is. I'm going to start going away. Okay, those are all the 1,050 something. There are 708 Rodriguez right here in downtown San Jose, somewhere around there. 150 right here, 19 right here, and 48 right here. Up to Morgan Hill. I don't see Gilroy, any Rodriguez over there. So Rodriguez is my last name. That's why I'm using it. So let me go and say, okay, out of the 1,057 properties that you found, are there any actively in foreclosure? So there are two. See, I can go back to my results and find the two Rodriguez that are in foreclosure. So there are many things I can do. I can say, show me the ones that are occupied by owner, right? So 185 are occupied by owner. What happened to the rest? How many more do I have? If I say nothing right here, out of 1,057, right? 850 something were occupied by owner. And if I say no, I have the opposite number, right, of people that are probably renting their home. Sometimes you may want to get this number, like these addresses, because you want to send them out a flyer. So you want to divide your audience. The 1,057 I came up with, I want to get ones that are occupied by owner, send them out a flyer that says, I can sell the property for you. You're ready. Something like that, right? You know the words better than I. So you're targeting your sellers. And if you're targeting your potential buyers, you can say, I want the ones that are not occupied by owners. And I want to send all these people 150 a flyer that says, why pay rent? I can help you achieve the American dream and all that, right? So yeah, you can play around with all these buttons, right? Remember the active in foreclosure, the occupy by owner. I'm gonna do something else right here in Santa Clara. How many Carlos Rodriguez are there? So there are, I believe, 12. There are 12 Carlos Rodriguez. I can go to my map and I can take a look at where they are. There is just one in Gilroy, as you can see. There's one in Gilroy. I can click on that to learn about this Carlos Rodriguez and Michelle Rodriguez, when they last sold the property in 2012 for 700, 4 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and all that. Right? I can view all the information. I can go to tax records, and I can view the tax records for each one of them. I can select them. Right? If I want to, I can select them all, and I can email them to one of my colleagues, maybe my assistant, and check them all out. I can email them, I can print the reports, I can do all, or I can do none, and just say I just need this one and this one, right? See, with this button, I'm selecting only those two that I can print, I can email, or I can get directions for. So or I can actually, let me say not this time. I can use this button and say, just show me the little area, those four, right? You see that? So there are multiple things you can do right here. But where I was really going to is to my results page to show you what it looks like. So out of the 12, I have different zip codes for all of them. I can sort them out by zip code. From low to high, high to low. I can sort them out by address, going from A to Z or Z to A backwards, right? I can sort them out by owner's name, by second owner's name, by recording date, by settle date, by anything I want. But remember, this looks completely different to the one I showed you for the regular world, right? When you run searches. And one more thing here is if we want to print reports, it's easy, right? You select print. If you want to email just a few from this page, not from the map, you pretty much do the same. You can definitely, if you want to print all of them at the same time, you can go and say print. Now, what do you want to print? Do you want to print the tax grid, which is exactly what we just saw? Do you want to print, there are different types of tax grids right here that you can see. 360 property overview. Remember what I showed you earlier? When I ran the search and I went to that area and I said, if you want to print a report, you can print tax records, this, that, the other. So if I want to print a 360 property view and I select all the tabs, I'm going to get a full report for each one of those properties, including tax, photos, history, blah, blah, blah. In this case, I'm just getting the parcel map, right? So the map view thumbnail. And the most important thing I wanted to show you is you want to probably send them a letter, right? To tell them, hey, I can help you with whatever. If you're planning to sell or buy, let's just pretend you were targeting those Rodriguez for whatever reason. You can send labels, right, to the property address without saying what is the name of the homeowner. So I'm gonna print to PDF. This is a lot easier in Matrix than it is on uh, on Realist, because Realist is a little bit more confusing. So see here, all those people that I selected, 12, it just says current resident at 2000 Coolidge Drive, or Coolidge Drive, and the other address, but it does not show the name of the homeowner, right? I can save this. I can go and get the Avery 5160 labels that I'm going to use for my letters and get the addresses and put them on the envelopes that I'm going to send them out. If I'm sending them a letter or if it's anything else. So I'm going to close this. Another thing you can do is you want to send it to the address, but including the owner's name, right? So I'm going to print to PDF and, oh, let me step back. Uh, Property address, print to PDF. So I made a mistake and I said email to PDF. So now you can see Carlos and Olivia Rodriguez, 2000 Village Drive, and the other one, Carlos and Monique, Carlos and something else, right? Carlos and Esther, Carlos, Damien, and Vanessa, and so forth. So this is a lot easier. You can play around with the different types of uh, prints that you can do. You can print reports, you can print labels, you can export. If you are planning to export the data, instead of printing, you select whatever you need, and instead of saying print, um, you're gonna hit the export button right at the end, right? So I think there's a number on exports. You can export only up to 7,500 a month. So within a frame or window of 30 days. So this time I'm gonna export only 12 reports. When you say export, you are exporting the tax grid, right? So it's gonna generate that tax grid for, let me go up here to another folder, my documents, and one more thing, and my exports. I have one called exports. I'm gonna call tax grid, and I want to say Rodriguez, right? Because I have 12 Rodriguez, and I'm gonna save tax records for those. I exported this to Excel, and now I have ignore these two columns, right? I don't need those. I need my tax ID. I need my address. I need this. I need that. See, over here you can always uh, swap the columns and all that. You can save this. Well, you can play around with this data the way you want, right? This is an Excel spreadsheet, and I believe that nowadays everybody's kind of like used to playing around with this, right? So you save it to your computer. You got all the information. You can do whatever you need with it. Another thing you can do is if you want to modify this, right? Let me step back. You can always move the columns around right here if you want. This is for your eyes only, right? Minute you close your computer and come back, this column is going to go back to where it belongs, right? The default. Now, if you want to save it with, let's say, the address always first, right? Always, always, always. Every time you come here, you're going to come here and you're going to say, set the current display, sort order, and count per page as my search starting default. So every single time you go right here, you're going to see address here all the time. Even if you add another, you can insert another column that says swimming pool, right? Pool, actually pool. Let's go for pool, right? I'm gonna add whether they have a pool or not, right? I added this extra column. So the minute I go away, this column is gonna disappear, but I can save a copy, right, of this display. I'm gonna call this tax grid pool and save it as a copy, right? So now I'm gonna have a display called my tax grid with a pool right here. So whenever I run searches, if I want to reutilize my new display, including this column, I just come here and pull it. One that says my tax grid pool. Do you see that? Okay, so there are many things that you can do. This is part of another class that we call custom displays and exports that I would recommend you to come to, so you learn how to manage, how to create different displays and all that. So let me step back. Let me go back to my criteria page. So I already showed you that I have all the Rodriguez, all the Carlos in Santa Clara. You can find any um, a property by address right here. You can add more addresses instead of one. You can add a few. You can find a couple. I think usually it's up to 10. Actually, in this case, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On our regular search page, you can find up to 10 like this, right? Over here, only up to 5. So you can do that. You can find, instead of saying, I don't want the Carlos Rodriguez in Santa Clara, just in San Jose, you can enter San Jose. You can go to your map and you can say, on my map, which is here, I just want to view the Carlos Rodriguez around here, right? So I can use my square and I can say, just give me the ones right there. There are only 3. And I can even save it, right? I can save it to my dashboard, right? I'm going to say, Carlos Rodriguez tax records in San Jose, right? And I want to enable this as a favorite search on my dashboard. See, I looked for Carlos Rodriguez in Santa Clara, but specifically in this area, and save. Now, when I close my computer, right? I close my computer and I come another day, I can go to my matrix dashboard. And since I put it on my dashboard, right, under my favorites right here, it is right here. I can always go back to that. See that? Um, then I can just simply select them, email them to my colleague, print the reports, get directions for those 3 properties, and so forth, right? Okay, let me go back to my criteria. Now let me clear up my my page. So I have, well, let me clear Rodriguez, I mean Carlos, I'll stay with Rodriguez. I have in Santa Clara, now it's giving me 166. I should have way more, right? So let me clear the entire page again. So I just have the Rodriguez in Santa Clara. If you don't say where, so I'm gonna have to go right here and type in Santa Clara, get the code. Santa Clara. This is kind of a little bit different to the regular way you run searches because otherwise it doesn't give you the code. So again, I came up with the number, right? So one thing is you can say just give me those that last sold during the last 30 days, right? Only the properties that sold during the last 30 days, 90 days, 11 Rodriguez bought their house or sold their house during the last 90 days or 120 or 180 days, right? So whatever you want, zero logic. You can use the calendar to go from here to here, but this is a lot better. You can say, just show me the ones that where, okay, you can say anything that sold for under $1 million during the last $1.2 million during the last 180 days. Is there any? Probably, oh, there are 12 of those homes for the Rodriguez sold in the last 180 days for under that price. See, and then you can even just specify the seller's name if you want, but that's not necessary. You can just find those with a real AVM. Remember, automated valuation model for under $1.2 million, right? 780 out of the 1,000 and something properties for the Rodriguez are under this price. If I say plus over that price, how many properties do I have? 219. Sometimes it might take a little bit longer to get the number right here because of that. If you are going by tax records and want the assessed value, you can enter it here as well. You can say out of those 1,000 something, 1,057, show me only the ones that have 3+ bedrooms and 2+ bathrooms, right? 672. Show me, this is a very important button that you need to be aware of. Land use, right? If you don't know about land use, you can click right here and select single family homes. Actually, SFR. It's kind of confusing because it doesn't say single. It won't pop up. So you can move it right here and say, just show me ones that are single family homes. 634. If you're looking for condos, you have to go and type condos right here. I'm looking for condos only, right? And so I'm gonna change the number 672 because now I have two categories. I can delete this and it'll just give me the single family homes. I mean the condos instead of single family homes, and I can view them on the map. I can view the results. I can print the report. I can shrink my list by deleting things that I don't need, and so forth. Right now I have 674 two. I can go to the map. One more thing, I can say, yeah, but I only want the ones with a living space of 1,200 to 1,600 because I like smaller properties. 254, and my lot size should be let's go 4,000 square feet on lot size to 8,000, no more than that. So I came up with 198. See, I'm shrinking my list, and the ones that have one half bathroom over there, right? There are 12. So yeah, I think that's not a good idea. And the ones that have the year built from this year to this year, like 1970 to 1980 only. That's all they really want. You can go by acreage. You can say by pool. How many of those 198 have a pool? I only need those with a pool. There are 5, right? I can save, again, I can go to my map or my results, and right underneath, when you go to results or map, you will see the save button. You can save a new search. Remember, I already have the one with 198 or something like that. I can go to a new save search and say San Jose for Rodriguez with swimming pool, right? There are 5, and all that. So going back to my criteria, remember, never hit the back button because you're going to lose your criteria. So you can keep playing around with this. One more thing, I'm going to remove my, where is my swimming pool? Right here, because that gave me only a few, right? 198. Now, recording date. Same thing as this one, right? It's very similar. I added this extra button. If I want to view the ones that were purchased prior to 12/31 2015. So I'm gonna suppress 5 years. I would see, oh, this is just one day, right? I'm trying to look at the properties that recorded this date. But if I say minus, so 161 where there was some type of transaction, like they recorded at the county, like they were sold. Um, Prior to this date. So I'm suppressing 5 years because I don't want to send a flyer to those people that just bought their home because they don't care. They are building equity, right? So that's why you may do this. But this is very similar to this button right here. So how did I do this? I went right here and I added my recording date right here. Recording date. I added it. It's going to give me an error right now because I already have it. But that's how I did it, right? So let me remove this. And last but not least, out of the 198, I want to see if there is anyone no, none of those properties is active, right? Actually, let me do this. Let me clear the page one more time. Let me just go back to Rodriguez right here and Santa Clara again, right? SCC Santa Clara. See, okay, see, it didn't really pull it right. Okay, let me see. Did it work? Yeah, came back to that by just typing that. So what I was going to show you now, you already learned about the land use. So out of the 1,050 something, how many of those are one-story homes? 764. How many of those are two-story homes? 260. See the number changes right there. How many of those are three-story homes? 17. Are there any four? Nope. That is impossible, right? So we already talked about the pool. But so out of the 1,057 properties owned by any Rodriguez in Santa Clara, how many of those are for lease? None. Lease during the last 90 days. So I could leave this open. There is nothing, right? So I said 0-90. No. How many are active? Nobody has a property that is active right now. Contingent, pending, nothing. And sold, uh, 12 properties out of the 1,057 sold during the last 90 days, right? If I want to say during the last 180 days, I have 16 properties that sold belonging to any Rodriguez. And withdrawn, are there any withdrawn, any expired, any canceled? No, right? So we basically just covered everything right here. So the idea is that instead of you come right here and go directly to Matrix, you can work with the standalone version, which is this, remember? It looks like this, but it's a little bit more complicated. So it's better off if you start working directly. When you go to Matrix or you go to Matrix dashboard, it doesn't matter. You will always see tabs up here. Go to search, go to public records, and start playing around with this. All right. So I guess this is it. I'm like 3 minutes after the hour and I need to run, but it was a real pleasure to be here with you. So I hope I can see you some other time during any of our webinars. So here is my information again in case you need to contact me. Carlos Rodriguez. I'm a corporate trainer at MLS Listings. My telephone number, you can leave me a voicemail or email me at crodriguez with a Z at mlslistings.com. All right. It was a pleasure to be here with you. Email me any question if you have any doubt, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right. Well, you have an excellent day. Take care.